If your morning begins with prayer, your whole day will be covered in grace. Have you ever woken up feeling that the world around you seems heavier than before? The worries, the noise, the weight of yesterday still linger in your heart. But what if, at that very moment, instead of checking your phone, you played a powerful hymn and let that holy melody fill your room? Something would change inside you. A quiet peace would rise, wrapping your soul in warmth, as if God himself was smiling and whispering, "I am with you." Hymns are not just melodies, they are the language of the soul, a sacred bridge connecting the fragile heart of man with the boundless presence of God. When we sing, when we listen, we open our hearts wide for his presence to enter, and when we choose to start our morning with a hymn, it becomes more than just music, it becomes a declaration of faith. That we believe, that we trust, that we surrender our day into his hands. Someone once said, "A day without God is a day without direction, but just a few moments in his presence, surrounded by the sounds of worship, can transform your entire being." Fear fades, anxiety softens, and peace returns. Because where God's music dwells, darkness cannot stay. Imagine this. You stand by your window as the first light of dawn filters through, and the hymn "How Great Thou Art" begins to play. Each word, each note, is a gentle reminder that though the world may change, the love of God never will. He is your constant light, your eternal guide, your unshakable refuge. And when you sing along even softly, that is when your heart begins to pray. You may not even notice, but heaven listens to every word. Hymns carry the power to heal the wounds you cannot name. They reach the places where your pain hides, bringing renewal, reminding you, you are still loved, you are still protected. In the journey of faith, music is the weapon of light. The enemy may whisper fear and despair, but a heart that sings praise can drive him away. Wherever a song of worship rises, darkness retreats. When you begin your morning with a hymn of praise, you are clothing yourself in the armor of God, ready to walk into the day strengthened by his grace. Many believers have shared that, listening to even one hymn each morning changes their whole day. They feel lighter, more focused, more at peace. That's not coincidence, that's God's blessing responding to a heart that seeks him first. So try it. Before you scroll, before you worry, before the noise of the world rushes in, press play. Let the music of heaven touch your spirit. Let every note wash away yesterday's burdens and prepare you for the blessings of today. When you do this, you'll realize that morning isn't just the start of a new day, it's an invitation to meet God again, right where you are. Part 1 is your invitation to rediscover that sacred moment each morning, the moment where your spirit lifts through song and your heart whispers, "Here I am, Lord." Because when the hymn begins, miracles begin too. When you no longer know what to say to God, let the hymn speak for you. There are mornings when you wake up surrounded by a storm inside, your heart still heavy, your thoughts tangled with worries and noise. The pressure of life seems to come rushing in before the sun even rises. But in that very moment, when peace feels far away, a soft melody begins to play. "The Lord is my peace," and suddenly, something shifts within you. The air feels lighter. Your heartbeat slows, and your spirit starts to rest again. This hymn is not loud or grand. It doesn't shout for attention. It's gentle, like a whisper from heaven. Each line feels like a tender embrace, as if God himself leans close and breathes comfort into your weary soul. "When I am weak, you are my strength. When I am lost, you are my way. When I am afraid, you are my peace." God never promised that life would always be easy, but he did promise that you would never walk alone. Every time you listen to this hymn, you are stepping into the presence of that unshakable promise. You can almost feel his hand upon your shoulder, hear his voice saying, "Do not be afraid. I am here." What makes this song so powerful is its ability to awaken the faith that has fallen asleep. Perhaps you've been tired. Perhaps your prayers have faded into silence. But when this melody fills the room, something inside you remembers. God has never left. He has been waiting for you all along, loving you still, just as you are. The music of heaven doesn't just pass through your ears. It moves through your soul, touching wounds that words could never reach. It reminds you that even when the world shuts its doors, the arms of the Father remain open. Picture this. Morning light spills gently through your window. You press play, and the hymn begins. The sound fills the room like a warm embrace. Your worries begin to fade, replaced by a peace you cannot explain. In that moment, you realize you don't need to strive. You don't need to be perfect, because in God's eyes, you are already enough. And as you let your heart follow the rhythm, you begin to understand. True peace doesn't come from everything going right, but from knowing who is in control. This hymn is the key that opens the door to that sacred peace. Make it your morning prayer. Let it rise before your first thought of the day, before you face the noise of the world. Let it speak for you, because sometimes what God wants most is not your words, but your silent trust. If you're listening to this message right now, take a deep breath, close your eyes, think of the things that trouble you, and let the hymn play in your heart. And if you've ever felt that same peace through sacred music, leave or comment on below, not just as a reaction, but as a testimony of faith. Who knows, your simple comment might be the light someone else needs to find their way back to God. Let the hymn "The Lord is my peace" become your morning companion. Each time you listen, let it remind you, peace isn't something you chase. It's something you receive when you rest in His hands. When you feel like you can't go on, remember your strength does not come from you, but from the one who upholds you. There are days when you wake up and the world feels like it's turning against you. Nothing seems to go right. The pressure builds, fear creeps in, and somewhere deep down, a small voice whispers, maybe I should just give up. But right in that moment, when your heart is weary and your hands feel too tired to lift, God has not left you. And when you open your heart to Him, the hymn "Lord, grant me strength" begins to play, like a prayer sung through silent tears. This hymn carries a quiet yet mighty power. It is not just a song. It is faith made audible in the dark. Every verse feels like a gentle wave of hope washing over the soul. When I am weak, you make me strong. When I am lost, you show the way. When I am broken, you lift me up again. This is not merely music. It is a confession of faith. Because in life, every one of us will stumble. There will be moments when our strength runs out, when we simply cannot go on. Yet God reminds us in Scripture, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. It is in those moments of exhaustion that we realize the most profound truth, that our strength was never meant to come from ourselves. This hymn flows like a stream through the desert of your heart. It tells you that you were never meant to be strong alone. Each time you sing, you are saying to God, "I can't, but you can." And the moment you speak those words in faith, He begins to move. Imagine a day when everything feels too heavy. Nothing goes the way you planned, and you feel as if you're barely holding on. Then, you play this hymn, and the words rise softly. "Lord, grant me strength." Suddenly, something awakens inside you. You feel lifted, almost carried by an invisible hand that whispers, "I am here. Do not fear." That is the power of faith. Not seen, but deeply felt. Many who have listened to this hymn have said they couldn't hold back their tears, not out of despair, but because they felt God's presence touch their hearts. Each tear that falls becomes a seed of faith, planted in the soil of surrender. Sometimes, God allows us to be weak not to break us, but to teach us how to lean on him. Comma. If you're walking through a hard season right now, let this hymn be medicine for your soul. It may not erase your problems, but it will give you the courage to face them, because you will know you are not alone. And when you sing along, the lyrics become your prayer. Lord, grant me strength, not to conquer others, but to conquer my own fears, not to rise above everyone, but to kneel humbly in your love. This song teaches a simple truth. Real strength is not in the hands, but in the heart that trusts. A person may have everything: power, success, money, but without God, they are still empty. Yet the one who trusts in him, even in weakness, can accomplish the impossible. So every morning when fatigue or discouragement comes, remember this hymn. Let it be your song of restoration, your quiet declaration that your strength comes from the Lord. When you listen, when you sing, believe that he hears you. He is holding you up, one step, one breath at a time, because God does not choose the strongest to do his work. He chooses the weak, so that his strength may be revealed through them. Let Lord, grant me strength, be your morning prayer, a reminder that no matter what the day holds, you can face it with peace, courage, and confidence, whispering, I am not afraid, for you are with me. No one can move forward while their heart still carries unhealed wounds. But where God is present, there is always renewal. Life sometimes breaks us in ways we can't even understand. Words spoken in anger, mistakes that haunt us, losses we never prepared for. They leave cracks deep within our souls. We keep going. We smile. We tell the world we're fine. But inside, there's a quiet ache that never truly fades. Then, one day, you hear the hymn, Lord, heal my broken heart. And as the melody rises, tears fall, not from weakness, but because you know God is touching the deepest part of your soul. This hymn carries a healing power born of silence. It doesn't demand. It doesn't shout. It whispers peace. With just a few notes, it's as if a gentle light begins to spread through your chest. Each lyric feels like a prayer, the sacred cry of surrender. Lord, wipe away my tears. Heal the wounds I've tried to hide. Renew my heart in your love, so I may learn to love again. It's a song for the broken, for those who've lost their way, for anyone who feels unworthy of God's love. Yet the truth is, God never turns away from the wounded. In the book of Psalms, he says, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34 minutes and 18 seconds. The miracle of this hymn is that as you sing, you're not just asking for healing. You're allowing God to enter your pain. Because sometimes, God can't touch the places you refuse to reveal. But when you sing, when you let the words open your heart, the miracle begins. Imagine this. You're alone in a quiet room. The morning light filters softly through the window. You press play, and the hymn begins. The music flows like a warm river, gentle, yet full of strength. You close your eyes. The words echo within you. Memories rise. The things you regret. The people you've lost. The pain you tried to forget. Yet somehow, all of it feels lighter. You are no longer holding it alone. You realize that God is sitting with you inside that pain, not outside of it. Then, something shifts, a feeling you haven't known in a long time. Peace. Not the kind that comes when problems disappear, but the peace that comes when you know, truly know, that you are not alone. God is not waiting for you to be whole. He's healing you in the middle of your brokenness. Someone once said, when God heals, he doesn't just patch up your heart. He gives you a new one. That's the kind of healing this hymn invites. It doesn't erase the past, it transforms it. Pain becomes compassion, loss becomes understanding, brokenness becomes a doorway to deeper love. This hymn reminds us that every wound has a purpose, because light can only shine through the cracks. If you carry pain within you today, Let this song be your prayer. Don't hold back your tears. Let them fall. They are not a sign of weakness. They are the sign that God is working within you. Lord, heal my broken heart is not just for those who suffer. It's for anyone who longs to love again. Because once your heart has been healed by God's mercy, you can finally love others with the same compassion you received. That's the miracle of sacred music. It doesn't just make you weep. It lifts you up, restores you, and fills you with grace. So, if your morning begins with this hymn, let it guide you gently back to yourself and to the one who created you. Let your heart be healed by the Lord, for only when your heart is healed can you truly live in his light. When the dawn breaks, it's not just the start of a new day. It's God's gentle reminder that he is still at work in your life. After walking through hymns of prayer, gratitude, healing, and hope, we now arrive at the final one, a new day in God's light. This hymn is more than just a song. It's a spiritual awakening, a symphony of renewal that opens your heart to the journey of faith and divine blessings that await. As morning comes, the world seems to put on a fresh garment. Sunlight filters through the leaves. Birds sing as though they're offering their own hymn of praise. And in that sacred stillness, if you pause and listen closely, you will realize everything around you is worshipping God. This hymn stirs within us a simple yet profound joy. The joy of being alive, of breathing, of loving, and of walking under God's divine guidance. The lyrics rise like a gentle morning breeze. Lord, let me walk within your light. May every breath I take be praise. Though the road ahead may twist and turn, I'll smile, for you are always near. There is nothing more powerful than beginning your day with a heart full of gratitude. When your heart leans toward God, fear fades. Every sunrise, whether bright or stormy, becomes an opportunity to bear witness to his love. The beauty of singing this hymn in the morning is that it feels like being washed clean in the stream of peace. Every worrying, every plan, every uncertainty, all of it rests safely in God's hands. And in return, he asks for only one thing: trust. For God knows what is best for you, even when you do not understand it yourself. In a world filled with noise and anxiety, so many begin their day with fear, but those who live in faith begin with praise. That is the mark of a heart filled with grace. When you start your day with sacred music, you're clothing your spirit with invisible armor, protection against fatigue, negativity, and temptation. Try this instead of reaching for your phone or rushing into work. Take 5 quiet minutes to play a hymn and close your eyes. Just 5 minutes to let your soul breathe with heaven's melody. You will feel it, a shift, a renewal. Your heart lightens, your mind clears, and somehow the whole day feels brighter. A new day in God's light is more than a melody. It's a commitment, a promise that no matter how the world changes, you will choose to walk in his light. You will choose love over anger, faith over fear, peace over worrying. God never promised that every day would be easy, but he promised this: you will never walk alone. And that is why we begin each morning with him, so we never lose our way amid life's noise and chaos. Remember, sacred music is not only meant to be heard, it is meant to touch the soul. When you let the lyrics sink into your heart, you're allowing God to speak directly to you. Sometimes, a single note can change the way you see the world. As we close this journey through 5 powerful hymns, let your heart hold on to this truth. Sacred music is prayer set to melody. When you sing, you are praying. When you open your heart, you are receiving blessings. When you let God enter each note, you let him enter your life. So every morning, before you do anything else, let him be the first voice your heart hears. Sing, pray, and walk in his light. For in those quiet moments of worship, you will find the greatest blessing of all: to live each day within his love. If these melodies have touched your heart today, I gently invite you to click like to spread His peace, and subscribe to join this journey of faith, where every video is a prayer, a message of hope, and a step closer to God's embrace.